Tell me what the hell going on. What they not saying. And don't lie to me. The hidden dangers of the rainbow. What's up, what's up? I'm here for questions for what I just posted today about the Masonic secrets. If you got questions, if you have, any points of contention, whatever it is. Because I really don't have time to be going back and forth with people in comments. But most of the time, people going to have something to say about when you bringing forth stuff that people don't normally bring forth. Appreciate it, Ron. What's going on? Y'all got questions? What's happening? What's good, Lieber? Lost it. Last in. Yeah. I just posted it. Grand Rising, what's going on? Who is the one? Who is the one of what? Do they send travelers to spy on people? They send everybody. Anybody can be sent to spy on somebody. That's not just a traveler's thing. Anybody could be an agent at any given time. What's going on? Happy Friday. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That's why I said it's no order that really predates Masonry. All of it is Masonry. Anybody that ever tried to challenge me on that, what they find themselves in is a corner. Backed into a corner. Because like you can't tell me what the Moors learned that the Masons ain't learning. And the only thing is a lot of the Moors are only Moors. They didn't become Masons. They never found out what was happening on the other side of them walls. I went on both sides. I understand the Moorish science and I understand the Masonic science. And I know that those are one and the same. So what order predates that science? They only want to call it Masonry, but you're forgetting that it's about the science. The same way if you call it Islam, that's one thing to call it Islam. But what are the practices? What are the actual pillars and things that go in alignment with what you're calling something? You understand? The hidden hand. Who are the dirty Moors? What's the thing about hearing your name being called or voices that ain't there? It depends on what state you're in. If it's happening when you're going to sleep or when you're waking up, they call that hypnagogic hallucinations or audio-verbal hallucinations. It can happen. It depends on whether or not your brain is funneling certain memories in and going through a certain state, or you're actually literally tapping into a different universe while you're here. So you're in between observation points. So you could hear somebody speaking to you, and they actually are speaking to you, but you might think that it's this random voice. But you're not able to respond from that part of you or that being or that version of yourself because you're still over here. You understand? So you can hear them call your name. Or it could be an interdimensional being that is speaking your name, trying to get your attention, and the voice is coming through like a feed or like, any type of phone or connection. There's different possibilities. All of them can be true. Right? So yeah, it's when it comes down to the Moorish science or the Hermetics, somebody just asked me about the Hermetics, right? Or the Hermetica, but it's the Hermetics. It's still the same thing because before it became the Hermetics, why do you call it the Hermetics? You call it the Hermetics because it was speaking about the sciences that Hermes brought forth. And Hermes was a name that you gave one of the gods or beings or teachers that the Greeks took on as their own. But before it was Hermes, it was still acknowledged as Ptah. It was acknowledged as Thoth. It was acknowledged as Chehudi, which is why when people call Chehudi an attribute, it's funny because they only want to look at the Ibis head. All right, when you go to Job and you'll find that I think it was Job 38:36, where they say, who gave the Ibis wisdom? When the New International Version translations, who gave the Ibis wisdom? It'll show you that it's there, right? Well, who is a being also, Hu, and that's an ancient Kemet, and that's the source of all creation. Who? All right, the creator. So who gave the Ibis wisdom? The Ibis, which is the sacred, something that's being held back. And that Ibis is the headset or the headdress of Tahuti. But when Tahuti takes that headset off, you will find Ptah. You understand? And you will learn that Ptah is also the god of architect. Tahuti is the god of architect. Tahuti is the god of arts. Ptah is the god of... These are interchangeable beings, interchangeable names like Dr. York or Imam Isa, or Marshall or Eminem. You understand? These are interchangeable names and places and time periods. So where Ptah was withdrawn or Thoth was withdrawn and translated and transmuted into the Hermes being that you're talking about, it's the same being except you shifted the image around, or the Greeks shifted the image around, and it became this Caucasian person, Hermes. But that person never existed. The only one who actually existed was Ta, and that was a melanin dominant man, okay, who had plenty women surrounding him, dictating and showing him what the wisdom of this realm was. And he was the one who was able to take all of the wisdom that they were given. Those are the women. The women, the order of the women is what's hidden. That's the mystery of God. Okay, that's why people don't understand what the woman's power truly is. It's nonverbal. It's something that isn't really communicated. That's the true sacred. Okay, because you don't really speak it. It's something that's only felt. It's something that you can feel with faith and not sight. What we call visceral versus visual. All right, it's something that you literally can feel. So Hermes comes with the Hermetic principles, where he's just pretty much breaking down certain sciences that Thoth had already spoken and written down. All right, it had already been written down. But when they invaded the Egyptos, as they call it, the Egyptian lands or the Kemetic lands, when they invaded those places, invaded the temples, they raided the temples, they raided the shrine, they raided the holy places, and they took the information for their own. Then they put their own faces on it. So it's still the same thing. And there's nothing that the Moors have been taught that the ancient Egyptians didn't teach first. So if you have Hermes becoming this god, Zeus and the rest of these people, these interchangeable characters becoming these gods of light or enlightenment, all right, or understanding the polarity of darkness and light, or the moon and the sun, and you have these orders set up, Hermes Trismegistus, or Trismegistus meaning what? 3 times great, all right, or thrice great, was what Tahuti or Thoth was called, thrice great. It's the same being. They're the same people, except one image is incorrect. You understand? The original image was a melanin dominant being. So these sciences came from melanin dominant people. Then the Greeks picked up on it. Absolutely. That became your philosophers, and those are the ones who learned from ancient Kemet. You understand? Even down to your Stoics. They all were learning things. And this is why they try to play people out, because you erased all of the real people. And you left us with Aristotle and Socrates and Plato's and the rest of these people, Pythagoras. But you erased the real people, all right, and let people think that, or they let people think that people like Tahuti and Isis, Sheshat, Ma'at, Ansaru, or Asaru, Asard, Osiris, Horus, these people were attributes that we just worship like some clouds floating in the sky. And then they don't tell you that Aristotle is an attribute. They don't tell you that Pythagoras is an attribute. They don't tell you that Hermes is an attribute. No, Hermes is a fictional character. That being doesn't exist. That person doesn't exist. But Thoth or Tahuti does. They actually exist. You understand? So they flipped it on you. So yes, it's Hermetics. And it's the Moorish science as well. The science of the cherry tree. It's all of that. Why you think the Ma is there first? Masonic. Masonic. Well, if I say Masonic, what is sonic? Not just talking about speed. Sonic is dealing with sound. All right. Something that is being spoken, uttered. All right. And Ma is what? Meh or Ma. Medu. So if I say Medu in ancient Kemetic language, I'm saying what? Speech. Something that is spoken or uttered, or debar. If I say it in Hebrew, I'm saying debar. All right, so Ma or Medu, Netar or Neter is Ma, or the speech of Medu, speech of Neteru or Neter, the God. Okay, so the speech of God becomes divine speech when you translate it in English. So the word of God or divine speech. All right, so what is the Bible called? The Bible is called the word of God. In the beginning was the what? The sigils. Well, you won't say the sigil, you'll say the logos. Well, of course, if you flip around the sigils, you get logos. Sigil, logos, legos, lagos. In the beginning was the logis, or the lodge. The lodge was what? The womb. I hope I didn't lose anybody, because when you're saying logos or lodge, you're saying the same thing, the word. In the beginning was the word, all right, or the logos, or the sigils, the symbols, all right, things that were being understood and communicated, what you call hieroglyphs, okay, from a solar place, Heru, Herut, all right, a heavenly lesson, which was divine. And that divine that you had originally was your umbilical cord. And that was connected to you while you were in the original lodge. The first lodge, which was your mother's womb. I'm not saying Plato wasn't real. I'm saying they don't call Plato's attribute. I'm saying, I didn't say Plato's wasn't real. Hermes isn't real. You understand? Or it's not a real person. Hermes isn't a real person. The image, you got to understand what I'm saying. The image Hermes that they paint for you, that person doesn't exist. The same way the image of Jesus that they paint for, that person doesn't exist. These images of people are false images. They just never existed. But the original images, the original people, they were either torn apart, burned. You understand? These emperors, Constantine, all these other people, they were having people killed and burning these people's paintings that were painting images of somebody who they were saying was called Yeshua, a melanin dominant person. Aristotle, I'm not saying that you got to keep in mind, I'm not saying that these people aren't real. I'm saying that when it comes to the ancient Egyptians, they're telling you that ancient Egyptian deities or Neteru they're saying that they're attributes, and they're not. They're people. But they won't tell you that those are people. They'll tell you those are attributes. You get what I'm saying? They'll give you Greek history as if they're real people. But then they'll give you the ancient Egyptian history that predates Greek history, and they'll tell you that these were just deities or people being worshipped, or we were animists, or whoever. You understand? It's all games, because if you find out that all these things tie in to the original orders, then you will find out what I was about to break down to you, that the original order was something that was natural. It was something that man had to be taught, but women overstood it. Do I need to repeat it? It's something that man had to be taught. The sons had to be taught, but the women came with that wisdom. So those were the ones who stayed in the dark. That's what you call Amuntet or Amunet. You had Amun, who becomes your Amen or Amen. You had Amun, who is Amun-Ra. Amun means hidden, and Ra means light, or Ruh, or RH is knowledge, which is the same thing. Ra is light, or the sun, and Ruh is knowledge in ancient Kemet, and Ruach is spirit, which is still the same thing. When we say test every spirit with the spirit, we're saying test every prophet with the knowledge to see if they actually know the sacreds, and a lot of them don't. And your pastors know the sacreds. Your reverends know the sacreds, but they've been told never to reveal those sacreds. You understand? So they won't tell you. All right? And they won't even tell you what the church is. The church is a lodge. Every time you go to the church, you're going to a lodge. You're a member of the lodge, but you don't call it a lodge. You call it a church. Some people call it a synagogue. Some people call it a mosque. It's the same thing. You understand? Can you sell your soul in masonry? You can sell your soul in anything. What you mean when you're selling your soul is just saying you know you have a purpose, S-O-L-E, a soul purpose to do something. You can feel it. It's an innate feeling that you have, right? You know that you have this feeling. You feel divinely aligned, and you go against that feeling, and you do other things for other worldly, whatever it is, whatever worldly associations that you take on, you start giving that more power. That's selling your soul. If you have faith already, or faith or religion, and you go against your religion for the love of money or for the love of man, something inside of you will tell you not to do it, but you'll do it anyway. That's going against your soul. And that's what we call drifters. So people are selling their soul without an order. People are selling their soul every day, because the majority of the people on planet Earth have sold their soul. Those are the drifters. It's not the other way around. As you get to the top of the pyramid, you have less drifters. You understand? And those people have a definiteness of purpose, as Napoleon Hill, all right, Napoleon Hill, the pyramid, has spoken about. The ones at the top of that pyramid, or the top of that summit, or the top of that hill, those are the elite. We don't drift. We don't care what we'll take death over drifting. That's why the GDs or the Masons, if you're not familiar, GDs and Masons are one and the same. You know what I'm saying? They got the blueprint, they got the principle, they got the creed. All the brothers and sisters know. Okay? So the GDs will tell you what? Death before dishonor. 424. Death before dishonor. All right? We will literally choose to go on that cross before we sell our soul. That's what we'll do. Meaning, we're not going to drift. You understand? It's a lot more to it. But if you keep thinking of selling your soul like some Shane Song Mortal Kombat person that's going to pop up and snatch some light out of you, then you're spiritualizing that science. Selling your soul happens every day. Every time you don't listen to that your high you or the higher you, which your high you means oh living. If every time you don't listen to that higher version of yourself, you sold your soul. All right? So it's not just one person, not just music industry artists. It's everybody is doing it. Most people are doing that. Drifters explained in an interview with the devil. Exactly. That's Napoleon Hill. Those drifters are agents. They sold it and now have to be given their assignments. Exactly. So which ones do you receive? Which assignments do you receive? Do you receive the assignments of the world? Because you have the right to do whatever it is. What I mean by right is R-I-G-H-T and R-I-T-E. It's your right to do whatever it is you want to do. That's your ritual. Doing things. Okay? There's a lot of people who are spiritual, they're taking steps towards science. All right? They're aspiring to do rituals, though. That's what it is. It's spiritual. You're aspiring to do rituals. So you have to eventually go beyond just the ritualistic behaviors, and you have to start learning what those sciences are. All right? And again, this is one thing that I teach people. There's no such thing as free will. All right? I know what you mean. Everything you do has a price, a consequence, or a prosequence. Everything that we do, from breathing in and breathing out. If you stop breathing right now and do nothing, that has a consequence, meaning you will die. You understand? Everything has a consequence or a chain reaction, so nothing is free. So there's no free will. You know what I'm saying? But it is a trick that makes people think, even with the satanic organizations and orders, they try to teach people do what thou wilt, but they don't teach them the other side of it is that's not the whole of the law. Everything that you do does count, literally. You understand? Everything that we do. And there are things that you have to do to balance out other things. All right? So as a traveler, I can speak on it. I'm telling you, I can speak on it. And nobody can tell me. Once you go beyond them walls, nobody can take that from me. That's why I tell you, there's no such thing as a former Mason. A lot of these people who be coming out trying to speak and say, as a former Mason, I know what they do. These are plants. Their whole thing is to keep you away from Masonry. Those are plants. You understand? That's why you have to, these days and times, you got to get these things clear. It's the same thing with everything else. Think about it. When it came down to Nuwapu, those are the people who were walking with Malachi York. If you were not walking with Malachi, let's trust me, you cannot Google it. You will not understand. You have to ask somebody who was there. You will not know what any of it was about. You can Google it. You can do whatever, unless whoever you were Googling, getting the article from, actually gave you words that from them. You don't know what's happening behind them walls of Nuwapu. You understand? I see you ask me if I'm a Freemason. You have to listen. You have to listen, because it's not just no yes or no. You have to listen. You understand? Because look, family, for the person that asks me, am I a Freemason, DM me and get my book, Who Knows the Secrets? Because I keep saying I'm a traveler. And you will understand the difference between a Freemason and a Mason. And notice that this picture doesn't say Freemasonic secrets. It says Masonic secrets. There is a difference. But again, that's why you have me here to, you know what I'm saying? Get in contact with me, get my book, and I'll give you the book. You, personally, the person who asked the question, get in contact with me, DM me, say the book, Masonic book, and I'll send it to you. I get we are a Mason, but are you a Freemason? I understand your question. I get it already. That's why I told you to get my book. Phil, what's going on? Now, what you're witnessing right here is something that we're taught in the order. It's called caution. Okay? That's something that we're taught in the order. Some people catch it certain ways, some people don't. I remember I did a room, and a brother named Hocus Pocus, not Hocus, Hocus 4th, Hocus 4th, I don't know why I say Hocus Pocus. Hocus 4/5 room. He allowed me to do a room where I sold my books, the Who Knows the Secret book. And 2 brothers came in of the craft, and they jumped on the stage while I was teaching. And they was like, so, we want to know, I don't know if they got together, you know what I'm saying? They're like, we want to know, when, what did he say? Something, or where you were hailed from? He said, we want to know where you hailed from. But before they asked that question, they came on and said, everything that I've been saying about their fraternity is incorrect. And that, this brother here is not to be trusted, whatever. However he came, point is, he came off 100% incorrect, right? To somebody who, bro, you just don't understand. So after he was done, I'm like, okay, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm thinking, okay, this could be edification, brother to brother. Did I misspeak on something? So I asked him, I said, look, okay, whatever it is I said that was incorrect, can you just correct me on that? Like, let the people know whatever it is, what information did I say that was incorrect about the craft? And he said, the youngest that I heard being a Mason was 18, because I spoke on my 16-year-old walk, where I came in at 16 years old. So he was like, the youngest that I heard of was 18, right? And I said, okay, so real quick, what was incorrect about what I said? Are you telling me that because you're not familiar with how I was able to be walked into the order at 16, that everything that I said about the sciences is incorrect. This is where you have to remember your place. Some of these people are just Boy Scouts. Some of y'all just wear the emblem. Remember your place. The reason why they walked me in at 16 was because I was traveling at 7. I was traveling at 7. Somebody asked me, how are you able to go in at 16 years old? How did you get in so soon? My response to them was, why are people going in so late? 21 years old is late. You're supposed to grab the Knights when they're 7 years old. So the brothers couldn't let me know anything, and I was open to that. They couldn't let me know anything of the sciences that I was saying that was incorrect or something that didn't check out. So their only issue was they weren't familiar with why I was able to be brought in at 16 years old. Oh, I had a field day. I had a field day. They could say whatever they want to say at that point, because there have been plenty times where a brother came and asked me a question, and I gave him the response because the brother came and asked me a question. Don't step to me, is what I was saying to them. Don't step to me like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is some shit. Nah, you ain't gonna little boy me and then we gonna play the right way. No, play the right way up front. And that's what allows us to have that caution. You understand? You ain't just gonna respond to everybody. We don't owe everybody a response. That's just not how we do things. It's not as mysterious as giving you the 360-degree information that's coming with it, and you're getting your answer. You understand? So some people have been able to ask me that. It depends on who they are, and they get the direct answer. Because it's not a yes or no question. That's what I keep trying to tell y'all. Okay, let me let you behind the door. You won't get a yes or no question. A yes or no answer from a traveler. All right? For example, if one of the travelers would have asked a certain question, they say, yo, are you such and such and such? And let's say you're dealing with, like Donald Trump showed you in his show, he had a show called The Apprentice, right? You're dealing with an EA, right? Where he just started playing the game. EA Sports is in the game. He's an instant apprentice. He just started playing. Okay? He's not going to say yes unless he hasn't traveled the full walk of EA. So if a traveler comes and asks him, let's say a fellow crab asks the EA, are you a Mason? He's not going to say yes, and he's not going to say no. If he says yes, he ain't traveled. He's going to say, I am. But why would he say, I am? That's what I'm telling you. Ain't no yes or no. But if you listen, you'll get more. But it's why the masses don't understand that science. When you're dealing with an operative, you listen. And you speculate. You know what I'm saying? You just listen. And then answers will come. I'm just showing you how to move forward in the future. But I am. Why did he say I am? Any travelers in here? Why would a EA say I am? Because it sounds like I am. But that's not I am. It sounds like it. The same way you say I am Hotep. You're saying letters. You're not just saying I am. You're saying I am. Okay? I am Hotep, which means I am peace. Right? But why do we say that? Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. Initiated Mason, that's what it means. I am. And that's your first answer you're going to get from an instant apprentice. I am. But it's going to sound like, to the eavesdroppers, is what we call people that will be standing around. It sounds like I am. But it's I am. Initiated Mason. The letter I, the letter M. You understand? That's the first step. Initiation. Okay? So it will not be. It's about mystery. And it's about caution. And if you think I'm just making stuff up, let me show you something so people don't think that. Because again, it's only seeming so, fantastical because this stuff has been made spiritualized. And you got people that's doing whole teachings and sermons on masonry and they did not travel. You got people doing whole teachings and sermons on Moorish science and they are not Moorish scientists. All right? You got people speaking on Eastern stars, and they never have had any type of association with the daughters of Isis. So this is the problem. If you want to take the walk, then you can teach it from the person who took the walk. Other than that, you're only speculating. How does one travel? To be one, ask one. Fair, I thought you had got my books, bro. To be one, ask one. I broke it down in the Who Knows the Secret book. That's how you travel. The number 7, because you have to travel with the number 7, because the number 7 is your travels. Meaning, while you're traveling, you think you're going somewhere, but you're not. You're really standing still. You understand? That's why I say in the song, 2 left feet, it's a landslide where I'm standing. If you look at my feet right there, that's a landslide. You see the letter L? That's a landslide. But I'm standing still. So how am I traveling and standing still? Okay? Exactly. This is the world that's happening around y'all, but they don't want you to know. There are things being said right in front of you, like McDonald's. The golden arches. It's stuff happening right in front of your face. And because people don't understand it, they won't know who it is being spoken to. Who is Ba? Ba, 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 ba. Who is that? And why do they love them? And whose golden arches was that for real? Well, it's the gateway of Babylon. Bab. Ba, 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 ba. Baphomet. Bab. Ba, 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 ba. Set. I'm loving it. The two golden arches representing a new dominion that they were trying to declare as their moonfall was coming. M. No, it can't be. No, yes, it can be. But are you willing to understand, or do you just want to understand it? So what I'm going to show you is, back when I was in high school, I had already understood the sciences of the Master Masons. I was EA in high school. I had just started. The Yellow Brick Road is we'll get to that. Hold on to that question and see if you can remember it. That's a good question. Okay? Because it still aligns with this. Because you have to become a Theodore again, or Dorothy. Theodore. You have to become Theodore again. And that inner God or that dog is what's going to pull that curtain back to show you what that is. All right? So hold on to that question. See if you can bring it back around. All right? And I hope we can get back to that. Okay? So when I was in high school, when you have videos that went viral of me later on after I graduated, I was in high school teaching the brothers and sisters who was there. And they wanted to know. We had something called the Pharaoh Clan Organization, because Pharaoh was a word that was tying to a meaning that meant to what man will become, or to what you will become. Why are we saying that? Because we breathe life or information, ruh, my spirit, into the man formed out of Adama, the dust, and he became Eve, or he became a living soul. But that's a process. He became a living soul. Right now, man is still but flesh. It said, my spirit, my ruh, all right, or my ruh kadosh, my Holy Spirit, okay, but spirit as in ruh, shall not always strive with man, for he is but flesh. Okay, so you have not become a living soul just yet. So you're still pharaohs. You're still becoming something. Do you understand? That's what Pharaoh was meaning. You were becoming it. And then it became what's a ruler. And no, Pharaoh is a process of royalty. All right, or becoming like gold out of lead. All right. Now, for the person who asked me, what's the Yellow Brick Road? You're on that Yellow Brick Road. That's life. And your goal is to go back to figure out who is the source, like they show you in the movie 9. Write that down. They have a movie 9, which was about the emerald light, the green light. Okay. And in that movie 9, they were explaining to people the artificial intelligence beings who were left after the fall of that world. We're explaining to people, go back to the source. Go back to the room number 1. What is room number 1? That's where you see me standing at. You never really move while you're traveling. You never really move. You understand? If anything, you're going within. But people may not understand that. But you're already looking with these 2 physical eyes, 1, 2. You already have these 2 eyes that you're using. But as a traveler, you have to understand that there are 3 knocks. 1, 2, 3. Tahuti is called the thrice great. It's about that 3rd eye, the seat of the soul. And that seat of the soul is pointed to your heart. All right? So you're traveling that yellow brick road, which is gold. What is a yellow brick? Just think of it. What's a yellow brick? It's gold. AU. On the periodic table. Gold. All right? And the philosophers were trying to figure out how to what? Turn lead to gold. Alchemy. Alchemy. The chemistry of L. All right? Why do we say chemistry of L? Because L is God. Ella. L is also the right angle. And you have to have the right angle or you'll get lost. You understand? Because if you have the wrong angle, then you won't understand. The right angle is 90 degrees. And that 90 degrees, 9 plus 0, is your what? God, G, 9. How do we say that? Because 9 is the highest number that you know of. Every other number is a combination. After 9 is a combination of numbers below 9. I think people understand that science by now. Okay? So then, what is the answer to the question will say, how do you become it? You to B1, you ask 1. 2B1A1. Which those letters and numbers equal up to 7. The number 2, the letter B is the number 2. All right, then you have 1A1, which is 1, 1, 1. The letter A is the number 1. So 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 7. All right, 2B1, ask 1, number 7, because between 1 and 9 are 7 steps. And that 7 steps is the letter G. 7 is G. All right, the 7th letter is G. Okay, so then those 7 steps in between, you're already walking that path because you have been born. All right, out of the darkness into the light. And the thing about Christianity, where Jesus was one of the ascended masters or master masons, all right, and Muhammad also being a master mason, these people set up orders to teach you how to find your way back to the true light. In the beginning was the Word is not the only beginning recorded. In the beginning was the Word, but what also? In the beginning, God created or yielded, all right, or formed the heavens and the earth. Bereshith bara Elohim, all right, formed bara Elohim. All right, what? The earth, Eretz, and Hashamayim, the heavens. Sham, Shamayim. Sham or Esh, they say in Hebrew, fire, okay, or the soul, the spirit, the ruh, and Marim or Ma'im, the water. What am I saying to you? That these elements, or what was meant for Allah to understand, have always been here. Okay, and that element that you have also coming into this world where you first figure it out is called your shuh, or your breath. All right? So between your steps of 1 to 9, which is 19, and you, if you've been walking with me, you know that I told you what Corona 19 meant. I told you that the Quran code is that virus because they were explaining certain things that the Quran laid out that was supposed to be a continuation of Revelation, all right, where they speak about the 7 seals, because that which is the seals of the 7 or the seal of God had been hidden from people. And the last seal or the seal of the prophets was called Rasulullah Muhammad. Okay, why did they say he was the seal of the prophets? Because that seal is paying allusion to the 7 seals of Revelation, or the 7 thunders, or sonic. Now, when I say something is supersonic, it makes a booming sound. Sonic, my sonic. And those 7 sonics, or the 7 sounds, or the sound of God, ma, or G, the 7th letter, ma sonic, all right, was hidden. And they told you that in the scripture, that the mystery of God was hidden. And in Revelation 10:7, they said what? That the mystery of God would be complete in this day and time. All right. So now, if the mystery of God was spoken of being complete in this day and time in the book of Revelation, and that revelation was continued as the Quran brought down by a being or person by the name of Jibril, the strength or Gabriel of God, the strength of God, who came down as a messenger, you understand? Then explain why that 19 appears as the code in the Quran. And 19 becomes the corona or Quran, which corona, crown, all right, is the sun emission glow, or the conductivity present that allows for you to have that aura, what you call or, and aura is just another way of saying or. When you say or in Hebrew, you're saying what? Light. Okay, so if you're saying or light, then you're saying aura, that's the light that surrounds you. Okay, within that aura, or that glow is also era or halo, and that halo is the halo that Jesus appears with, that the angels appear with, that Muhammad appears with, every holy or halo person appears with, okay? So then that's the crown. All right, so then that's the Corona 19. And the corona is the glow around the crown. It's literally what it is. The CDC literally had a page on their website explaining what I was telling people. I'm like, look, they got it right here, why they called it corona. Now, you look at that virus as an image of what they showed you the virus to look like, and then you look on the cover of the Quran and you see the same thing. They're the same thing. Okay, so what's the significance of that? I'm going to tell you what the significance is. 19, corona, crown, chron, time. Chron means time, or the ancient Greek god of time, chron, all right, or chronos, all right. The chron, 19, time for 19, time for you, whoever you are, to wake up and remember the signs that we told you the world was going to ignore. Now we have another person coming through the udder and remind you of those signs. And his name is Phasal. Phase 1. So you know what time you're in. Phase was a word. Phasal is an actual word that means to separate or to resolve something. Just like we told you, one who shows up to separate the sheep from the goats. And you saw me coming out attacking the goats, the Baphomet, all of that. If you've been walking with me, the Sun Tzu album, all right, up to this point. And it all came to a head with George Floyd in the year 2020, which was the year of Revelation. So Corona-19 pops up in the year Revelation 2020, where everybody says 2020 vision. What's another word for vision? A revelation. All right. And 19 happens to be the code of the Quran. It's called C19. Corona Codex 19. It's all there. It's all there. All right. So if you have a Codex 19 and that 19 is written in the Quran in a place called the Hidden Secret, which is the 74th chapter, well, please explain to me why 74 is GD. And please explain to me why G-D is Masonic to say God. When you ever see G-D, the Masons are saying God, but they'll say GD. Because that O is a 0. Because it's the 0 time reference of when you were conceived. And from that 0 time reference of your conception, you started your travels in the womb. From 1 to 9. All right? After those 9 months, you were birthed. And you docked. You went from the waters to the land. And they severed your cord from divinity. They cut your cord, your umbilical cord. Om. And when we say Om, we're saying the basic sound of the universe or the compassion of Buddha is what they call it. Om mani padme. Right? The basic sound of the universe is what it's called. Just to keep it simple. All right? And that umbilical, basic instruction before leaving Earth. Because everything is basic. Then you have to go to the Quran to receive the hidden secret. And that hidden secret is called Amun or Amunet. Because Amun is looked at as masculine. But when you find Amunet, you'll find she was the hidden one. Amuntet. And that's the woman. So it all ties back to the woman. But because they severed that cord and they gave you a certificate of life or a birth certificate, versus just acknowledging that you were alive. Then they told you had to make a living in a statutory world versus just allowing you to live. Then they gave you a dead name or corporation name or what they call a government name, a name that they can control your mind with. All right, versus just allowing your tones to be uttered freely. Then you became a part of this lost world. That's when that tornado comes and picks up your home, uproots it, and throws you out into the land of Oz. Okay, so in the land of Oz, or OZ, eyes is what I tell people, eyes. And you say, what are the eyes? Yeah, what are the eyes? But also EYES, eyes. Okay, in the land of Oz, you have to become wiser, all right, in order to get back to the source. You have to be the Wizard of Oz. And you have to learn that there's nothing separating you from these people called the Federal Reserve. Because who is that? It doesn't actually exist. The U.S. Corporation, Russia, all these other, Asia, whoever, these establishments don't actually exist. These entities or egregores are only concepts. The beings or people behind them, they eat, they sleep, they shit, they do all the stuff you do. They are not all powerful. Their fear is the moment that you realize that. So what do? They say, okay, these secrets or sacreds have to be protected. And they will leak out. So let's do it like this. Let's create these orders after the light. And let's make sure we doctoring in people. Why would we want to doctor somebody in? Because if you doctor something, you make sure that you can affect it and twist it and tweak it to a point where it's not like it was. So that's why most, if not all, Masons have never said the things I'm saying to y'all. Because what they found, they were holding on to it, and they thought based off of what the rituals were telling them, which was, what was the rituals? Well, if you speak some of the things that I'm speaking, the thing was, you will slice your own throat and cut your tongue out. Rip out your own tongue before you utter those secrets. Right? Why? What did it mean? And why was there a sword implied with the cutting off the head? Because that sword was the secret. And the secret is the sword. The sword is the S word. And what's the S word? Sword. When you say it, sword, S word. And that's sacred or secret. Okay? So is it really a sacred? No, that's the secret. So is it really secret? No, that's the sacred. There are no secrets, but as long as I can doctor you in, then I can make you forget that. Everyone is Illuminati. If you know how to fix a car, you're Illuminati when it comes to fixing cars. If you are a math teacher, then guess what? You are Illuminati when it comes to teaching calculus, trigonometry, all this other stuff. Okay, AP statistics. If you know how to edit music videos, then you are Illuminati when it comes to Final Cut Pro, Sega Genesis, Vegas, Sony Vegas, you know what I'm saying, Windows Media, wherever you're using. Okay? Everybody, anybody that can claim to possess enlightenment on a subject at a given time is Illuminati. That's what the definition is. Enlighten people on subjects. So there are plenty subjects to be enlightened on. What happened is people think the same thing that's happening with the spiritual community, which I'm doing my best to bring them back around. People think regurgitating information that's been already thrown around is what makes you enlightened. No, it makes you a very skilled regurgitator. Because if you have to stay, a lot of these people who be making these TikTok videos and Instagram videos, I be listening to, I said, that's definitely scripted. If they were to sit on this live and have any of them conversations they be claiming that they're not knowledgeable in, if they were to sit on this live with me and have any of them conversations, they wouldn't be able to have it. Because you can't Google it fast enough for it to flow through. It takes time. And this is where maturity comes in. The maturity with the information. Now, I was one of those people who was concerned. I'm like, okay, they're saying that I won't be able to say these things to the people. They saying that I won't be able to tell people this, that, and the third. And then you just start realizing it, which I realized when I was like 18. I said, but who gonna stop me? That's the, okay, so what's the real thing? The real thing is you have to decide at that point whether or not you're going to let this scout ship affect your role or your mission. And that would be me selling my soul. I did not join the Traveler Order, right, to hold on to sacreds. That's not what I was born for. I was born, my name Omari, which now you can see the government because of the verified shit, right? My name Omari means the high priest. So I wasn't born to and my middle name is Shaman or Shaman. But Shaman. So Omari, high priest or highborn or God, is multiple translations. One of the translations is God. One of the translations is born high or highborn. Another translation is the high priest or the highest priest. Let's get it right. All right. And then you have shaman, which is a medicine man, but shaman is also shaman or sham, a man of the sun, a being of the sun. And then you have Hargrove, which means of the grove. All right. Which also ties you to the land. So I wasn't born to come in and conceal. They told you in the biblical scriptures that there will come a time where you will see what was happening now. I wasn't born to conceal. I was born to reveal because we're in the day of revelation. I was born right before the year 2000, 98. You understand? So the bottom line is when we're saying 1 through 9, we're saying the number 19. And when we're saying the number 19, we're saying a hidden number. That's why they put it in the hidden secret of the Quran. They're all the same book, but you don't understand it because what I mean by the same book is they're tied into each other. But you would only understand it if you read both. You understand? Same way with the Moors who be saying, one of the people commented said, Moorish science predates Masonry. And if I would have asked them, tell me one thing the Moors learned that the Masons don't learn, they wouldn't be able to answer it. For one, they won't be able to answer it because there is nothing that the Moors learned that the Masons don't learn. For two, they wouldn't be able to answer it because they aren't travelers. They've only stood on Mason science or the Moorish science. They never went to become a Mason to see what was happening behind them doors. So you have to understand both. This is why you have different depictions like the angel who was standing with their foot in the water and on land. You understand? The one who appeared with the rainbow. All right? You say Allah is not Elohim. Yeah, because it's two different words. You're saying Allah, that's a whole different word. Elohim is a plural word. So yeah, you're right. All right? These beings who are messengers who have the ability to stand on water and land, that's what we need in this day and time. That's why they put them in the book of Revelation. Okay, you got to be able to do both. It's not saying that one is wrong. I'm not saying that more science is wrong. I'm just saying y'all are limited. Okay, especially if you can only speak from more. I've been on Clubhouse for 3 years talking to certain people. And every conversation that they ever popped in, all they could talk about was Moors. That's all they could talk about. And they don't understand that that's limiting your ability to speak to people. Because some people don't want to talk about Moors. Maybe they are Christians, or maybe they, you understand, atheists, or maybe they just want to deal with some science or crypto. And you just got to bring it all back around to Moors always. You got to, and now we got our own lodge over here. We got the Blue House. Family, that's all good and dandy. It's just that you have been trapped in an ideology. You understand? And that can happen to anybody with any group of people, Christians, whoever. I do study I teach the Kabbalah. I teach those sciences. You got to get my books, family. I should have came in and put my books up here. I didn't put it up there. I'll probably put it up there in a second. Right? But you got to get the books. When we come back on, and I'll tell you, I'll put the information in there. But yeah, I teach it. And all of it still ties back down to the same sciences that the Masons teach. Yeah, you want to be universal. It's the same thing, the reason why we call a grand architect of the universe. The only grand architect that we really truly know is Tahuti or Ta. We don't really know any grand masters beyond or before him. Everything else is attributed to something that we don't know, which that ties you back to the woman. And people don't know how to go before the woman unless you want to go all the way back when it was autosomes and shit like that. I don't know. But we don't know beyond the woman's order. And a lot of Masons don't understand the woman's order because it's more nonverbal. Notice, you don't see a lot of Eastern Stars doing this. When the last time you heard an Eastern Star talking about any of this? They don't really do the uttering part. It's more nonverbal. You understand? Their sciences, they're likened unto the same science, but it's a lot different when it's coming from the sisters. They just do things differently, which is why, out of respect for their order, I never teach Eastern Star information. That's just it's just a different type of respect. But when it comes to the orders that I was privy to actually be, I can't be an Eastern Star, even though it's one of the same, but I do know a lot about Eastern Stars. You understand? You gotta, I'm gonna put it up here for y'all. I'll put my cash out and make sure you send your email and donation. Whatever your donation is, it don't matter. Because I see y'all trying to put it in, but I don't want nobody to be confused. I appreciate y'all, though. All right, so I'm putting my cash out. You send your email and your donation for the books. I got 8 books. We're working on the 9th one. The 9th one is coming on the 24th. And if you notice, I did 424. Same thing I've been telling y'all. Do Death Before Dishonor, 424. That's what it means. All right? Right. You're traveling to the east. You have to also remember, as you're traveling east, you're traveling west. Okay? So you're traveling east, but you're also traveling west, which means you have to understand the paradox and the polarity of what light is or information is. Because there's a paradox to all things and there's a polarity to all things. This is something that somebody brought up earlier about the Hermetics. You really study the Hermetics and you'll realize, you understand, what is the 7 about to begin with? Well, it's the same thing. Lining up the G, which is darkness and light, and the understanding of what it really means, because people think that it's only dealing with the universal laws, but you can have darkness in a room full of light, meaning you can have a room full of people where there are people who know what's going on and some people will not know. Gnostic, the spiritual sciences is likened unto the same thing. It's just that you have to be clear when you're speaking on the Gnostics and the agnostics, the people who go against that. You have to be clear. Yeah, I study it. You have to be clear because it's all esoteric. So if I speak on, let's say, for example, if I speak on the Gnostic knowledge pertaining to the spine or the magic wand that's in the center of our body, I have to be clear on what that is. I have to be clear when I'm explaining it to people why there are 7 chakras and 7 is the G inside. And from the black to the white, which I put in my book, How to Love Again, from the black to the white, we're traveling up these 7 cycles or 7 wheels. All right. And that spine is our magic wand. And we have to avoid pleasure in order to get there. Exactly. Kundalini. We have to avoid pleasure to get to heaven. So then that's when you start speaking about people saying heaven is inside. No, heaven is inside and outside. But the esoteric teaches you inside and the exoteric teaches you outside. And what people don't understand is the exoteric is esoteric and the esoteric is exoteric. You know, you have to go with the law of correspondence. That's what all this ties back to. Correspondence. Is your core, your inner G, responding to the G around you? And is the G around you responding to the G inside you? And the answer is yes. Then the better question would be, are you conscious of that and how it's working that way? Exactly. As above, so below. As within, so without. I wouldn't say avoid sex. What I'm saying is just like this. Monks. The reason why monks will go and be virgins and virtuous like nuns, and it's because when you're dealing with pleasure, All right. There are certain parts of your body where energy is going to. So if you have, which you do have, certain hormonal reactions in your body, let's say you see somebody you like and you, as a natural being, become attracted. Well, there's nothing wrong with being attracted. Make sure you sent your email too, Mr. Universe. I appreciate you. Make sure you sent your email too, though. I want to make everybody. Oh, I forgot to pin it. Why nobody didn't tell me that? I appreciate you though. Let me see. Let me make sure I pin it. Right. Let me see if I remember what we were just at. What was we just at, y'all? What were we just talking about? Right. Okay. When you have energy from the hormones that you have, okay, it's going to be there. There's nothing wrong with having it. I'm not saying that. I don't ever want to make people think that I'm trying to demonize attraction, because I'm a human being right now too. So please don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, when you take certain walks, okay, and the walk of becoming an ascended master, or like they show you in the movies, every time there's a superhero, all right, it's always a relationship that start fucking up the whole. Nigga Peter Parker almost ended the whole fucking planet. You know what I'm saying? Because of his attraction. Even when it came to Aang in the Avatar series, all right, he couldn't activate his crown because he was too concerned about Katara. All right, if that's her name, Katana, whoever the hell, Katara. I remember the girl, the person, the thing. All right. So when you take certain walks, you do have to abstain. You do have to become celibate. Well, why do you want to become celibate? Well, because Sela is like the stars or heavenly. In order to get closer to that crown or celestial, you will have to break off this bottom part. It's too much weight. And that's when you neutralize and let that energy go up your spine. So another thing I teach in the How to Love Again book is it takes more energy as you get closer to the crown. So if you're constantly battling and have to warp between this, that, and the third, and what feeling this is, this emotion, this lust over here, if you cannot neutralize and work more energy as you get up past the heart chakra, up to the throat, up to the third eye, up to the crown, then it will fall back down. And then that's why people say, damn, I relapsed. You understand? Or they fell back into what felt good. That's what they really mean when they say relapse. Because it's not just sex. It's anything can become a habit where comfort, all right, it creates this same type of soothing feeling, all right, where you start releasing the serotonin and releasing the dopamine. And we think that we might be addicted to this, that, and the third, but you're not. You're addicted to the experience. Okay? The experience. So are cigarettes addicting? You know what I'm saying? Is sex really addicted? No, you're addicted to your brain having a chemical release. And that can happen. Yep, food, anything. Anything that deals with, if you notice, it's easier to do all these things. It's easier to just sit, eat. Let me say how they eat because they depressed. You know what I'm saying? Or they eat because they upset. They eat because they bored. They eat all of that. You can do that all day and it feels good. But then what happens? After a while, you start gaining weight. All right? And weight is just a physical manifestation of what they call impurities or toxins. And it's just a physical manifestation of it. Okay? Things that can happen in your brain regardless of the weight that you put on. So is it bad to be fat? I won't say that it's bad to be fat or bad to have weight. I'm not saying that. What I would say is it'll be easier for you if you lost that weight. You understand? So while you're on the walk of becoming a lighter being, or a light being as you call it, all right, to be merged in with more of the emerald light frequency like I was telling you about in the movie 9 where they had the emerald light there, okay, you're going to have to lose weight. Like Erykah Badu said. And it's not just for the ladies. It's bag men out here too. And you're going to hurt your back carrying all them bags like that. When you walk into the order, the traveler's order, you can't bring nothing with you. You become stripped. You actually have to strip naked. And if I just said that and left it there, people would really think I was saying stripping naked too. That's why I said it like that. Because you don't literally have to strip naked. You understand? But you do. But not literally. What you do is you take your shoe off, you pull up one pant leg, and you pull out one side of your shirt. And now you're stripped. And you put on these blindfolds, and now you can't see. All of this is what it was when you were born. You were naked, and you didn't understand sight like Neo. You hadn't used your eyes. You understand? So you won't be able to take this stuff with you on the walk. That's what all of this is about. You're traveling back to becoming God again. And It's like, just like they put in the biblical scripture, where they were describing a pyramid, where they say narrow is the gate that leads to life. And they were saying few people will find that. Straight is the gate. Narrow is the gate. Straight up top to the capstone. Few people will find it. And wide is the path that leadeth unto destruction. And there will be many who find that. That's a pyramid. How is that a pyramid? Well, there are more people at the bottom of the pyramid than there are at the top. You understand? So they were describing a pyramid. But why were they describing a pyramid in that scripture? You know, he spoke in parables. Same reason why the Quran said they did it that way. They said everything we created for you pairs that you might receive instruction, basic instruction before leaving earth. We gave you parables so that you'll be able to pair these things. Okay? You will be able to pair them. Parables. He was saying that because the pyramid leads up to your capstone, which is your eye, your third eye, the seat of your soul. And not many people figure out what that is. Most people fall into the bowels because it's easier. You understand? Exactly. You are the pyramid. So, as you are the pyramid and the world around you functions as you are, okay, so as within, so without, there's a sociological pyramid that exists also that you're a part of. And that sociological pyramid is set up that the elite are at the top, which it doesn't literally mean the top. Y'all know that don't mean that they live in like some tower. They could live next door to you. You know what I'm saying? But the elite are at the top in knowledge and resources and what they can have access to and who will allow them to have access to it and what type of militaries or abrupt force they can use to take on more access. Okay, that's the elite. Those are the gods of the earth. And the rest of the people are running around at the bottom of that pyramid. So trust and believe if they're at the top, they're Illuminati, meaning they're enlightened. Because that's what it takes to become the top or the capstone, which glows like the eye of providence. All right? Now I go and provide a place for you or prepare a place for you, which becomes provision, providence. Well, what providence, doesn't that mean divinity? Well, it does mean divine. It does tie to divinity, but they put the eye of providence on the top of the pyramid, floating off of the 13 steps. Is separate from this world that they built up under them, okay? And that provision word is called risk or razak, all right, in Arabic. And that provision place is where Jesus was saying he had to go up there. Now I go up to provide a place for you. So what does that mean? Information has already been left. Every ascended master we could find has been sent. Do you want to get out of hell or do you not? It's just simple as that, because you have an opportunity as human beings to become likened unto light beings. You have that opportunity. Okay? Some people will take it, some people won't. But then you have to learn more about the system. Is why I teach people that hell exists inside you. When people say hell is just within. Because, nigga, correspondence. You got to remember that. So if there's hell inside of you, well, then there's a hell that exists of the planet Earth, too. She has a hell also. So even though they say stuff like, yo, is hell biblical? Fire and brimstone, destruction, the show, the pit, all of that is biblical, yes. But they merge it together to make it sound spooky. So, no. But it's biblical as in the components that make up this concept that they merge together. However, what they call Jahannam, or what they call Naraka, or what they call the lower worlds or the underworld, that was spoken on way before the Bible. And these beings that were spoken of, called demons and Jan and all that, they were spoken about before the biblical scriptures. Okay, so it's not just something that the Catholic Church made up to scare you. No. And sleep paralysis isn't something that's just happening in your mind. So you're sharing the planet Earth with life forms that feed off of your adrenaline. They feed off of your fear. They feed off of your lust. We think of these things and we think it's just stuff that we're feeling. But every time you're feeling something, you're releasing electricity. You're releasing electromagnetism. There are readings coming off of you. You understand? Same thing with a dog. Remember they used to tell you, yo, did you see a dog? Hey, don't be scared because they can sense your fear. Okay, so that's some type of life form that can pick up on adrenaline, pick up on fear, pick up on somebody's angry, sad. You don't have to communicate it to them. Okay, well then you're sharing the planet Earth with other life forms called demons. Okay, that they're literally living here with you. And they're able to interact with you when you're going between certain states of observation. They call it REM. All right? Or the transitional stages of you waking up or going to sleep. They're able to interact with human beings. And for the longest time, those different life forms, whether it be the grays or the ones you actually call the demons, which are one and the same, they've been taking energy from people. Now, if I'm making it up, well, then the people 5,000 years ago made it up also, because they were painting these things and saying that there was a demon sitting on their chest. So they made it up. So why 5,000 years ago do you see paintings, 6,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, do you see paintings of these beings? All right. And they say they were sitting on the chest. They said they were sitting on their back. They couldn't move. They were scared. They saw a shadowy being. They saw this being, looks like a gray, but they call it a demon. All right. And to this day, you still have people, children, saying that they saw it and that they experienced it. Children that never saw a horror movie in their life, never saw a TV show in their life about grays or demons or any of that, they've experienced it. Why? Because they are real life forms. But who's going to teach us about these life forms? And who's going to be in position to teach people? And like, what government is going to say, yo, put this in the school curriculum to teach people about the fact that we don't really run the planet. And we have to cite ourselves off or put ourselves off to the side, and we don't understand all the different life forms that are here. You understand? So the bottom line is, if you want the information, you have to go seek. And you have to learn to ask more. I get it. I'm young. That's what's going to trigger a lot of people, especially like the older people who done dedicated their life to one school. And they'll be like shook when I'm speaking to them, like, bro, I learned that school in 2 years. It took you 30 years to not know it. The reason why I learned that school in 2 years is because I didn't plan on getting stuck in the school. So y'all see me on here speaking about the Masonic. We can come and talk about the Rosicrucians, even though I never went into any of the Rosicrucian houses. I still have the information that the Rose Cross have. You understand? We can speak on plenty different organizations, whatever. You understand? If y'all want to do one, yeah, we can do a lot of different rooms, you know what I mean, on certain things, or lives on certain things. That's a fact. But it's because I didn't want to get stuck. I just wanted to learn how to communicate to people. Exactly. When they find out my age, I'm 24. But that just shows you what I've been doing. You shouldn't get offended. Get inspired. Get inspired that you have children that can be raised to meet this, you know what I'm saying, or reach this level by this age and go beyond me. That's what we should be inspired to do. Yeah, you know it. 30 years. Why? When Malachi said, long walk on a short path, did you really realize how many schools he took y'all through? Because y'all went on that long walk on a short path before I was 2 years old. By the time I was 2 years old, he had already built Tama Ray. So I was born right where he let the Golden Ages land there, and I had somewhere to land, which I think that just all was divine. I literally was born. My first memories are Tama Ray. That's my first memories, being around the pyramids, being around the tombs. Y'all went through 30 years of teaching. He was teaching before my mama was born, and he taught my mama. And my mama had me, and he taught me. Everybody uses the little memes. People say, I've been teaching for 50 years, and y'all still haven't learned. So with them 30 years, most times it takes 30 years for people to understand what it means to be a Christian. You got people who've been a Christian their whole life, still haven't read the Bible. Look, I wish I was making it up, but y'all know I'm not. People have been Christian their whole life and still haven't covered the book. You understand? So it takes a lifetime, 30 years. All right, I shouldn't really say a lifetime, but it takes 30 years plus for people to learn one school because they're pacing it that way. They letting all these other people teach them what is in the book. They believe in them. You spent Sunday after Sunday for years just listening to your pastor. And did you know your pastor was a Mason? And that he wasn't telling you what he knew. He didn't tell you what he knew. Because if he told you what he knew, you would be like, why am I in church? I shouldn't be here. There's no reason why I should be paying tithes or any of this. None of this has anything to do with my soul. That's all Roman. It's all the things they set up. The Pentecostal church, they was working with the five. America's star. You understand? Some people may not want to hear it. Pillars of Islam. You think it's the 5 pillars or the 5 P's, it's the 5 points on the pentagram. You know, it had nothing to do with what you think it was. Okay? And the imams knew that because they had to know that. The imams are Masons. You understand why I told you the supreme being, they either let it be Allah, Ta'ala, or they let it be God, Almighty. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. because it's just saying there's a supreme being that you couldn't really explain if you were asked what that was, which means you're going to be asking that question forever, which means you're ready to travel. If you think you already know what God is, oh, God is just me. I'm my higher self. And oh, yeah, you can't travel with us. They will close the door on your face. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good thing because you got all these people who have no idea what they're talking about. They have never read the Bible, and they're trying to teach people away from the Bible. I've seen plenty of videos and everything saying, we don't need the book. That book enslaved our ancestors. The book did not enslave anybody's ancestors. What are you talking about? Do you really know history? They did not use the book to enslave your ancestors. No, they used abrupt force, murder, genocide to enslave people's ancestors. Then they had to teach the next generations English. Then they taught those people who learned English to teach their children to read the Bible and believe in the images that they had hired these other people to paint and have in statues in these churches. That's way after the slavery took place, family. If they needed to enslave your people today, they're not throwing Bibles at them. So that's not what happened. No, they took books and stories that already existed, merged them, okay? And they said, well, we can put this image to this story, create a whole different type of spell. We flip the good news or the evangel, angel, the message of life or the messenger of life, evangel. What I mean by that is you can pick one, the Chalcedonian Council, Nazi Council, pick one, come on. Right? And they took these stories and merged them and flipped the God spell or the ghost news, the good news, to a ghost spell. And they said, make people believe in ghosts. Then make Jesus be the main person. Even though he wasn't even the highest priest. Make him be the main person. Right? And then, okay, then forget about all these other teachers and stories and everything else. Let them say they can't marry no books with this book. You know what I'm saying? Just throw all kind of stuff in there. And make sure you never teach them about extraterrestrials either. Because they ever learn about extraterrestrials. This is what the prime ministers was saying. Y'all think I'm playing. Winston Churchill literally said, don't let people know about extraterrestrials. He's a prime minister. Ministry of Defense, go look it up. Said, yo, don't tell them about unknowns or ETs because if they learn, that will destroy their belief in the church. Would it? Yes, and the reason why it would is because you wouldn't believe in angels anymore if you really knew that the government was in contact with them. Well, that changed the whole game plan. You got angels and you got the devil running the planet Earth. Where your angels at? Where are the angels? Another question you need to ask your pastors and your imams and your rabbonis, rabbi, ask them, yo, where did the fallen angels go? Because all of them believe in fallen angels, correct? Correct. Okay, so then where did they go? They all came down, yes. All right, they were cast out with Shaitan, yes. There's supposed to be another war that takes place in the heavens, yes. Where are they? Where they at? Are they the leaders of this world? Are they Putin family in them? I'm just throwing stuff out there. Where are they at? Where are these angels that fell? What happened to the giants? Were they the dinosaurs? Did this story take place way longer than 6,000 years ago? And what I'm doing right now is what the science community does. They'll ask a question and they're giving you the answer. That's what they do. They'll ask a question and they'll give you the answer. Could it be that Jesus had children? Yeah, they know that already. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is a game. And people are not supposed to know about the extraterrestrials or any of that. They're not supposed to know about that. I'm still a traveler. That's why I tell you, once a traveler, always a traveler. No, mudras aren't evil. I wouldn't say that. You have your mantras. You have your mudras. You have, it's just ways. I don't know if y'all can still hear me. But it's just ways of saying you're getting connected with energy points. You understand? It's like you have to learn what your energy points are, your energetic points are on your body or in your being. You understand? And if you're speaking a certain way, you want to know what is happening when you speak. What happens when you say words? Well, when you say words, you're changing your reality. If I walk onto a train, I say, hey, yo! And everybody just turn around. I just changed the world. It might not seem like you ever heard of the butterfly effect or chaos theory. Some of y'all who got my books, I know you have. Okay? It's changing the world. Every time you do the slightest thing. Okay? So it's all about energy. Nothing is really, when you're talking about these things, right? Or if I do a sign when it comes to mudras, or if I do a token or a badge, all these things are emblem. All these things are basically saying the same thing, okay? Then is to say, okay, if I put up this middle finger, that's fire. And you wouldn't really know that unless you looked into it, but you find middle finger says fire. Okay, well, this is fire sign with it. Maybe that's why we saying fuck you when we put shit up, because it's supposed to, be inflammatory. You understand? I always get into, especially the person that asks about the mudras, you can create your own. Gang signs are mudras. Okay? And once you learn what mudras is doing what, then you can point them places and touch your body at certain places. And this is something that I do all the time. Okay? And it's just learning about your being, your essence. So if you're conscious, here's one thing to do. For anybody who's wanting to be more conscious, study the brain. Learn about the different parts of the brain and how it works. You understand? Learn what types of chemicals are released. What does the brainstem do? What does the amygdala regulate? You understand? The cerebellum, the prefrontal cortex. Because why is it important? Because if anything happens to any part of your brain, then your consciousness is going to be affected. So everybody is conscious, correct? Yes. All right. So does everybody know what to do with that consciousness? No. That's when you start being more than just conscious. You want to go super conscious. And you start learning about what they call your unconscious, which they call your subconscious. But I tell you, that's your super conscious, because all you're speaking about is capacity, mental capacity. If you don't know how to play chess, then your mental capacity hasn't been stretched to be able to play chess. Well, then if you're in a situation where you have to play chess and get out, you're not as woke as you thought you were. That's why you never stop learning, because all these tools, which is pieces of information, these are tools, can be used. And you take a rough stone or a rough ashlar and you smooth them out. That's how you become a God again, or a well-rounded being. Okay? Or a sphere, which is the activation of the Merkaba. It's a whole other conversation where you don't just have a 6-pointed star, you start driving. That Merkaba has to spin. And when that Merkaba spins, it creates a sphere, which is an electromagnetic field or magnetic field. And that's your sphere. All right? And you don't just hold it there. You want it to stretch out. Now, that's esoterically speaking and exoterically speaking, when you learn more about your being, which is what the monks will spend 20 years doing. They will go away from the world and they will learn what their soul is and how to use it and what the astral realm is, who's out there, where is it, can it be an altar, they'll learn all of that, and it'll take 20 years to do it. You understand? And then what does it mean? What is it all about? Well, they come back and teach people how important it is to learn it, and then they prepare to leave. They prepare to leave. That's what this life was about, learning more about life and leaving. Did you think anything else was going to happen? And the ones who are trying to go against that flow, they're the ones who are trying to lengthen the telomeres and do all this other stuff, go against it and touch the tree of life. And you understand? And they just don't know what they're doing yet. But we're not meant to stay here. We're meant to learn and go. Elementary school, you're not still in elementary. You might have thought you wanted to be. But then when it came time, you got a middle school, say, oh, this is not so bad. Then you go to 8th grade and you getting ready to leave and you got your friends. I want my friends. I don't want to leave. I like my teacher. I like this class. I like recess. And then you go to the 9th grade and say, oh, this is not that bad. Then you got the jitters of having to graduate and you gradually go up the degrees. You know what I'm saying? You know, school is masonry. School is set up like masonry. Masonry is the 3 levels. And then you go beyond with your honorary studies, which you get your masters or your philosophers. It's the same thing, honorary studies. You got 3 degrees, elementary, middle, and high. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. But hey, don't take my word. All right? You get your jitters of graduation and you say, yo, it's not that bad after you graduate. Okay? So it's going to be the same. It should be the same way when you finally get to the point where you have to leave your body. You want it to be that it's like, oh, it's not that bad. You know? And the way that you do that is you don't have weight. And that's why they say travel light. All right? Any last questions? Because you know I'm about to get off here. My phone finna die. Travel light. That's the main message. And there is no traveler who would ever contest what I'm saying. They'll only be like, bro, you know we ain't supposed to say that, right? I say, yeah, you know, but hey, I got to do this because in order for me to start the newer activations happening in certain people. While this sun gets hotter, like I told y'all, we got to start pulling out more sacreds, because those sacreds going to tie you back to Amun or Amun Ra, and then that ties you back to Amunet. Once you learn it, you'll learn. Then when more people learn it, it's like, okay, it's not just phase one knowing it. If he wanted to be special, he would have kept this shit to himself, and he would have used it, and and people wouldn't have known that he was using it on them. You should pay attention to the ones who telling you, which is, I don't think it's ones, but the one who telling you is the one who was like, okay, nah, bro, I'm not trying to be the only elite, because we need more celebrities. We need more elite people. We need more celebrated entities or celestial beings. That's what we need. All right? Any books on Kundalini activation? I wouldn't really call one out right offhand. I got the Holy Tablets right here with me. So, no, I don't have one offhand. I read a lot of them, though. You can read the Gita, right? The Bhagavad Gita. You can read that. Just type in the Gita, Gita. Type it in and you'll find it. But I don't know anyone where it's like I read it directly for Kundalini. There's a lot of books that teach it. So, no. What are my thoughts on the Hebrew Israelites? I got a lot of thoughts on the Hebrew Israelites. I think that Hebrew Israelites have the right, they got the right idea of what they want to do or what they're working toward. They just have to remember how to communicate with people. From what I've understood, they don't really understand. A lot of these people don't know how to communicate the message, and they forgetting the fact that they're a religion still. Just don't forget you're a religion, and not everybody has to accept your religion. If you can get people to understand the principle without trying to push the religion on them, you will be successful. But in this day and time, you will not be as successful as you think you're going to be trying to push a religion on people, because people are too free-minded right now. At least to the point where they don't want to be locked down. Now, they can still be strung along by current events, but that's why it's moving like that. So if the Hebrew Israelites want to be more successful, you're going to have to lead with less of the religious, zeal that y'all are pushing is not working. You understand? But hey, I can't tell them what to do. They're going to do what they want to do. I do study. I study with the rabbis. Exactly. The Torah, the Tarat, as we say. 100%. What do you want to know about it? Do you worship the Creator, or do you believe you are God? I don't do either. I don't do either. It's a school that you have to go through to figure out what I mean when I say that. But I don't do. I can explain it simply. I don't know what the Creator is or who the Creator is, so all I can do is be aware of the possibility of it. To worship it would be asinine, because I don't know what it is. And once you reach a certain level, you may not reach that level, so you don't have to listen to what I'm saying. But once you reach a certain level, it's like, why would I worship something I don't know what it is? All I know is it is a possibility that it exists. I don't even know that this was created. There's a possibility that this has always been here, and we can't fathom what always is right now. So I don't worship the Creator. I don't know what that is or who that is. I do leave the possibility of there being a Creator open, so I observe that possibility. And do I believe I am a God? I know I am a God, if you're speaking in terms of someone who is in control of what they do and in control of their world. I do assume responsibility for my world, what's happening in it, and who I am and what I do. You understand? What books of yours do you recommend for someone who knows the basics but wants to get deeper into the major sciences? All of them. It's a real good group of books, especially this 9th one that's coming. So what I tell you to do is just, if you want to wait till the 24th, you can. But if you want to donate now, send your email. I'll send you 8 books. And then on the 24th, you can donate again. But if y'all want to wait till the 24th, you know what I'm saying? And if you already sent it and you want to still wait, just DM me and be like, yo, I want to wait. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't have to do 2 donations. And you send your email in with your donation, and I'll send you the books. But it's a good set of books. All right? I do one on masonry. Well, actually, it's 3 on masonry, but it's different ways it is being taught. So you have the Who Knows the Secrets, the You Are Light, All Right, and the How to Speak Elite, which more so goes into Illuminati, but way deeper. All right? And what the original orders are and different things that are happening right now. It's a lot of it. It's whatever you want to give, family. I don't have I do it like this because it's different. I received a $1,000 donation before. I received a $1 donation before. I just let people just participate. You can send whatever you want to send. Don't feel any type of pressure. Literally, people have sent $1, and I still send them the book. So don't feel no pressure. I just want people to realize, like, yo, let's all participate. Let's help this brother. You know what I'm saying? Let's stand with them. Let's help them. And let's get this information out. And then beyond the information, you're going to start seeing what the action is going to be about. Because there are things that we're going to be doing. And that's all it is. The more people we'll be able to pull in, the more people can get on one accord, the more we can just do. And what we're going to be doing, one more thing I'll say is it's not going to have an organization name or anything like that, because I want everybody to be able to participate. And I want everybody's children to be able to benefit. So people ask me, is this for melanin? Somebody asked me before. You said, are you doing this for the melanin dominant people, the black people alone, or what are you saying when you saying people? I'm saying people, humanity. You understand? You have to be able to dream or visualize that big. If I was only here to just help melanin dominant children or brown people's children out, I'm not thinking big enough, and we're gonna have the same problem. You understand? It's going to continue. I'll be done help these melanin dominant children, the brown people out, and then we still got the situations that are at hand. And it's like, how would I be this pure person moving in that direction at least, and I disregard or stop thinking about the rest of the people of the planet? No, we got more people here. If you see a Caucasian child and you see a melanin dominant child, you're still looking at the future. And another thing, we can't just, something I teach to the conscious community, you can't just keep teaching each other. Like, y'all niggas got to go out to the hoods. This is what I do. You got to go into the hoods. You have to go into the places where people are that didn't have access to this type of stuff that y'all learned. You understand? And you got to really be able to teach them too. We have to reach the masses is what I'm saying. Not just you got to literally go. And you do go to the spots, but you don't have to always just literally go into the hoods. But if you only teaching conscious people who just think they woke and they vegan and all this other stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying you're not reaching the lost ones. You're reaching the people who are already a part of your religion. If you want to branch out and bring everybody together, regardless of what religion, regardless of what walk of life, what are you going to have to learn how to speak how they understand it? I don't want people to confuse the fact that you have a conscious following with the fact that you're waking people up. No, you just keep getting AOKs and ashes from people who already agree with what you're talking about. It's more complicated and more challenging to reach the shade room population. How you going to reach them? What you going to do when it comes time to teach the exoticals? What you gonna do when it comes time to really, you understand? We have to reach more. And the science is everybody has to eat. Everybody has to drink. Everybody wants to live, pursuit of happiness, all this other stuff. So we can't get stuck in one religion. Spirituality became modernized Hinduism. It became a religion. You can't get stuck there because not everybody cares about burning sage. You know, there's other ways to clean your house. Some people may not be on that. You may be on that, and that's fine. Other people may pray. And if that works, it works. Now, it may not work for the bacteria, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's less of a tug of war when it comes to belief systems. It's more so a claim to action or a call to action. And everybody can participate. So no, it's not a direct number or anything like that because I don't want it to be, too high or too low for people who, I just never know. And that's how I move. And I learned to move like that a couple years back. All right. So we'll come back on here later. I'll do more Q&A. However we want to run it. Masonic secrets. I'm not somebody who's an outsider. So for all the people who kept asking that same question, you should have been listening. I'm not an outsider. I learned it from actually traveling, walking behind them doors, going through what you call the rituals and the initiation, all of that. I went in there. I saw. I came. I saw. I conquered. Left out and said, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? They said, where you going? I said, I'll be back. You know what I'm saying? It's time to give this light out. But that was a long time ago. That was 8 years ago. So people going to have to get over that. We got way more information to be taught. It's just now we got to open this door up, let people see behind this Masonic door so we can take all this spiritualism off of Illuminati and remind people that they are the Illuminati. You just lost it a long time ago to people who have more resources and more information than you do. But together as a body of people, you got way more than they do. I do one-on-ones. I'm busy right now, so I may have to, if I do one-on-ones, I may have to make it be, payment based. But you can still reach out to me. You never know. You can reach out to me. It depends. It depends on something how things are moving. Sometimes I just respond to people. Sometimes I just call them. Whatever. You just reach out to me. And I hope you don't take that as a slight. I'm for real. I just don't. I don't know. I move in spirit. Sometimes people. Well, hey, look, I'm going to get on the phone with you. I got $10, I got $40, whatever. They might do it like that, or somebody might hit me up and they got my number, and then I'll answer. It just depends, family. I'm always moving. But anytime I'm on live, bring your question. you know, we can do it like that too. Don't ever, you know. Yeah, I reach out. It's just I'm always, y'all gotta know it's a lot of people, so it's but I know one day it's gonna be, we're gonna have to find a way to make sure that it's all, you know, organized, you know, even better. Yeah, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. I got you. I see you. We're gonna come back. You're gonna be able to hear more. What email? No, you send a donation to that Cash App and you send your email. And I got it set up on my phone so it come through my text message. So the email gonna come through and I'm copying and pasting to the email and I'll send you the books. But you just send your donation in your email, whatever the donation is, and your email. Yeah, you send your email with a donation. Peace and love. No, I don't have Telegram, not right now. Mostly I'm working this live thing. It's a power play. I got y'all. We're going to do more lives. So when we get back on here, we get back on here a little later. I'm going to aim for... Oh, one more thing. The game, y'all. Because I know people was playing the game. So some of y'all who's played the game, I may be about to refund y'all. And we might start it back up on Monday. All right? And take it all the way through Friday. Instead of me doing it every day. Because I think I'll be stretching myself too thin to do it every day. All right? I may have to just run the, you know, books and stuff like that. So I will be refunding y'all when I get off of here. And then if you want to play again Monday, just play Monday and we'll choose the winner Friday. All right? So don't worry. I ain't forget you. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Word up. Okay, so we're going to come back in a little bit, y'all. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. If you didn't know what this live was about, you can go to the video on my page and you'll be able to see it. 13 Masonic Secrets. And I'll probably do another video on that one also because there's more to it. I just did 13 this AM. All right. Love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.